Hello everyone. Today I thought big double spread here in my media journal, and I can't even tell you how excited I get now to come up here and then just kind of take a look at what we have already done, because that was our first layout, and now that I've gotten further into it, I am kind of considering that possibly finished because it would just fit in with the rest of my large abstract work. This might be one of my favorites. It is absolutely gorgeous. It turned out amazing. But then I think that about this one too when I turn the page and see that. And then I think that about this one too when I look and see this. This is kind of what inspired me as I was kind of flipping through and looking. I was thinking large swashes of colors, maybe a few stencil work today, because this one, the more I look at it, the more I love it, the happier it makes me. I love this layout. And then I love this layout. It's some yummy urban grungy, but in a pink and yellow kind of way. And then this layout that we did is super cool and fun. And then this layout that we did yesterday, look how beautiful that graphite, liquid graphite dried to finish that piece out. And then this layout, look how amazing that is. Every time I look at this one, I get happier again. And this layout, I just freaking love this layout. It is so gorgeous now that both sides are done. And the longer I look at it, the more I'm like, oh, so glad I did this, because it kind of pulls this blue in right over here. Love, love that set. And then this layout we did, how cool is that? Oh, such a good set. So now here we are I'm gonna do a big center page, and we'll come back to that kind of in between page later. I don't know about you, some of the funky pages, I almost have to build my way up to it, like skip a day and then be like, okay, I'm ready to tackle a canvas, or okay, I'm ready to tackle that burlap, because the funky pages just take more effort. But look how rewarding they are. This one is so gorgeous. Oh, I love that. Okay, so I was thinking today, I was very inspired by some projects that I did maybe a year ago or a year and a half ago. These have been a little while, but I love these colors, and these are from those Peerless Watercolors, which are the watercolor on paper packs. And I loved those colors so much. These are like that. So if you've got any of those watercolor on paper like that, you know, definitely get those out. But I loved these colors so much that I'm like, ooh, maybe I want to try some liquid watercolor in these. And you can get these Peerless in the liquid watercolors. So this is rose red, mountain green, and chromium yellow, and then some stenciling on top. And I feel like let's just do it. Let's just do a big piece with these as our inspiration. So I'm gonna set these right up here, and then kind of thinking maybe water on it and drip them in, and then we can squish them around and then stencil on top possibly. I mean, can't really think of any better way to do that. See if I got a great big brush. I mean, I've got some big brushes, but I kind of want a big wash brush. That's okay. We'll use our gigantic mop brush. This is the Princeton Neptune number 8 gigantic brush, and I kind of feel like putting water down and dripping the watercolor and then moving watercolor around. So this actually had some color in it. Isn't that kind of interesting? Let's just go ahead and lay some water on both pieces. And this paper is weird compared to normal cotton 140 pound cold press paper, so we're going to keep that in mind also. But really, I'm going to soak it down, and then we'll just do it. No idea what we're going to get. We're just going to do it and enjoy wherever we end up. Ooh, that was a lot of color, wasn't it? Oh, but I do love my little bowl scraper that I have neglected for probably 2 years. Look at that. Okay, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. We're getting there. Whoa. And let's go ahead and throw this chromium yellow in there. It's more of an orange, but it does some interesting stuff as it spreads out. So we'll see. It was just about experimenting and just seeing where we get led today. It's not anywhere in particular. Ooh, look at that. And as these three colors blend, they do some interesting stuff. Like, then we get some brown because of the way that's kind of blended some. And we get some purple. And I kind of want to stay on this sheet of paper, so I should have put some wax paper underneath that. But that's okay, because both pages that are facing this page are not painted yet. So even if I get something on those, not a big deal. Ooh, look at that. All right, so definitely a little more dramatic or heavy-handed or a little extra than I was even intending. So now I'm kind of wondering, I could take some, ooh, that's what we could do. We could take some shop towel. Let's just see. Maybe wrinkle it up some and see if we can pick up any color. Let's, ooh, look at that. Whoa! Oh yeah. You get this, the shop towels have a little less pattern on them than like a regular paper towel, but we're still kind of getting like this little tiny bit of texture that's there, and that did kind of pull some and lighten it a tiny bit for us, so I'm liking it. I like it. I like it. Okay. I'm kind of thinking that we could let this dry. I could also see if I can move some of this color up a little bit and run it off the page rather than it stopping at the page, because I do like how over here we came off the page. There we go. That's what I want up here. Let's run off the page up there. And it doesn't look like it weirdly stopped somewhere that we didn't intend it to stop. Okay, so let's go ahead and let this dry, and then we'll come back and do some mark making on top of it. Okay, I have pulled out rectangle motif 75016, which is this stencil, and it's a Joggles stencil. And I don't know if you've been on the joggles.com site looking at yummy stencils and stuff, but they got some good stuff. I got a link below the video to the Joggles. Let me tighten these lids here. Yeah, I'm getting one of those out and playing. I am now, even though all this time I've been like, what am I going to do with these big stencils? Now I'm like really, really glad I got some big stencils to play with. And then you kind of think, well, they're almost not big enough. So I'm going to get out some of my Blick matte acrylic paints. I've got a couple colors here, and I've got some So Flat paints, cadmium red dark, cadmium orange, and titanium white, and blue red medium, burgundy, blue red light. I'm just pulling stuff out to have options here, and I kind of want to, I don't know, have kind of like a maybe a medium, maybe I'm thinking this color. I want it medium to dark. Some of these bottles are so thick that they're hard to squeeze. Let me shake this one up. Actually, I can see it needs a little shaking. Yeah, they're harder to squeeze. I do kind of want this one. Ooh, I've had that one a while. It's kind of not smooth, but we're going to use it anyway. I'm kind of just wanting a mix here of some of these colors, maybe. and just have like a little mix on my sponge of these, and then just see like what that's gonna do for us as I cover some of the yummy watercolor. And this is one of those where I'm just using my artist sponge to move some of this around. Let me put that right there. And you can use a stencil brush, you can use a paintbrush. I like this sponge a lot of times when I'm doing something like this. It's just my own personal preference there. If I'm trying to be more exact, though, I will use something like a paint. Oh, this is what I wanted. If I want to be more exact, though, I will use like a paintbrush. Oh my goodness. That is what I wanted. Let's see if we can line it up kind of close enough to then come a little further, because that is what I wanted. And I like that it's a mix of colors and not one specific color. That's what I like about it, because it's like a mix of these, you know, these are mixing, so this kind of mixed. Oh my gosh, that totally was what I envisioned, and I don't even know how I did it. I mean, I know how I did it, but I'm just saying, I don't know how I accomplished what I was envisioning, because sometimes when you think of art stuff, that's pretty awesome. Sometimes when you have something in your mind, it don't always work out. That one totally worked out. Now I'm almost wondering, should I throw a little bit of white in there? I kind of like that that's all dark like that. Let's just keep going. Let's just do it. I want these to bookend each other. So let's just come back here on this side and do a little of the same. Oh, it's already a good paint day, even if we don't get any further than that right there. I have a lot of people mention the joy that I tend to have in my art. You know, it took me a long time to get to this joy. Now it's about letting go of expectations and being okay with wherever we ended up with in our piece. And that's hard to get to the point where you can just let the expectation go and be like, okay, wherever I go today is good. So I get it. I get that. But let me tell you, if you can find the moment of joy in your art and having fun, what makes you have some fun and what makes you show up, because if you're having fun, you'll show up. Then you'll do the play and the practice and create, and you'll develop into a style. Ooh, look at that. And then every day turns into a good paint day, no matter what you created. And I want that for you. I want you to find the joy and that spark that makes you excited to show up to create some art. And for me, it's mixing colors and having, look at that, and having fun stuff show up where you never even expected it. I love that. Stick that over there. Now I'm kind of feeling like we can do something with this. All right, so, but yeah, find the joy. What is going to give you the joy? I'm almost thinking that we could draw on top of that stuff with a Stabilo woody, maybe. Like maybe the orange one. Remember the orange? Maybe a teal, like maybe we want some teal in there. Let's pull those out. We'll just have them ready. Maybe some pink. Ooh, I love these. Now I'm thinking, do we need some extra little mark making with paint? I don't know. I'm gonna set the paint to the side. All right, I've given that a minute to dry, and now I'm thinking, what if we did some type of, say, flowery motif on top of that, bringing back some of the white, because it looks a little darker on camera than it looks here in person with me looking at it, but I feel like I could bring a little bit of white back in here. And you know, you could draw botanicals on top of this too. I could take a Posca pen and draw on top of this. I kind of feel like I want to stencil a little bit of white, and then I can continue to add with marks on top of that. So I put out a little bit of, let's not get this all over the place. I'm terrible about getting paint everywhere. It's like my superpower. My superpower is getting paint on everything. But yeah, I pulled out some of my titanium white, Liquitex heavy body titanium white, because it's more opaque and I really like that one. And we'll just see how it works out. And rather than do the sponge, which makes it very kind of, I don't know, you can see the lines in it. Maybe what I'll do is do it with a brush. And I might just kind of bull clip that in place and hope that stays where I want it. I do have some stencil brushes somewhere, but I think what I want to use is maybe just my round blender brush, because it's kind of like a stencil brush, but it's got a little bit of a point. I feel like I could get a little more exact maybe with that, rather than getting all over the place, which I do with a sponge. And so we're just going to try it. If it works, great. We'll have a new little skill set to take forward. If it doesn't work, that's okay. It's not a big deal. It's not something that was important. It's a page in my art journal that I'm using to experiment and play with other techniques. And that's kind of the way I'm going to treat these. Now I kind of wish I had not put it right there in between that leaf, and I could have had the leaves coming out separately. And I can see as I'm doing this, I'm picking up some color from whatever's underneath it. That could be the watercolor that I'm picking up, giving it a slight pink tinge, what I think is kind of cool. Now let's just see if that's even, is this even working? Let's just pick it up and take a peek. Whoa, do you see that? Okay, whoa, now I'm excited. Great idea. Who thought of that idea? Good idea. Yeah, so I got these great big stencils and I'm like, I'm never gonna use those. And now I'm like, whoo, I got big stencils, yay. This is like, because most of the art that I tend to create, especially for YouTube, are on smaller sheets of paper, just because then they don't take as long and maybe you could finish your piece in one sitting. But also because I like making small stuff. Years ago I made teddy bears, and I made the ones that were like 2 inches tall, a little bit smaller than that. I'll have to pull out like all the different hobbies I had. I made jewelry for a while. Yeah, I like little things, and I like little things that hide things. So I like little boxes. And for some reason, you know, I think miniatures, I would have done good in a miniature kind of thing, because I liked doll houses when I was younger, and except I don't have the patience to put the whole doll house together. My mom, this was like a long time ago, they bought me a doll house, and it was one of those that you had to put the wallpaper on the walls, and you had to put the little shingles on the roof, and you used wood glue, and stuff didn't dry very fast. And so I'm thinking, one day I'm excited about stuff when I'm excited about it, and then after that excitement passes, I move on to whatever the next thing I'm excited about, whether I'm done with the thing I just did or not. And the dollhouse got half a roof, and some rooms wallpapered, and I had to let the roof dry for a while with the wood glue, and then I lost interest in it, and so the dollhouse never got completed. But there are some things that I do that I'm like, okay, I can stick in this for a while. Photography was definitely one of those. Doing still life setups, I could definitely get in there and create a setup. I think that's why I enjoyed photography as long as I have, because it's a little more instant gratification. You create something, you take a picture, you edit it, you're basically done. Whereas with painting, maybe you'll paint on the same thing for one day, but maybe you'll paint on the same thing for 3 months. I mean, it's definitely more of a patience thing, and I needed to get to the point in my life where I had more patience than I had when I was younger, let me tell you. I wanted instant gratification. And painting sometimes is instant gratification, but sometimes it's a patience game. Especially if you have to stop and let something dry. I know you feel me. Which is kind of why making videos and classes helps me show up and kind of gives me the patience to wait in between the layers, because it's almost like there's a bigger purpose here rather than just me sitting at my table creating, and I like that. That's what fuels my creativity. That's what kind of fuels the drive that I have to show up. So I love you guys for helping me show. Okay, so now I just realized I don't want to paint myself into a square right here, so I'm gonna have to I don't want it to be a straight line there. I'm gonna have to work around that for a second. Kind of want to see where are we at now. Oh my gosh. Oh, so good. Okay, don't stop yet. Resist. Resist. Oh, I could have it, kind of stop like right there, and then over here kind of come up from that edge. That would bookend it very nicely, actually. I'm glad you thought of that. Yes. Okay, so now we know where we're going here. I'm feeling pretty good about that. I'm not looking to finish every spot. I just wanted to bring that in. Let's see what we think of that. Whoa! Look at that. Oh my gosh. That right there is pretty. Now if I put that down, coming up the opposite way down here, thinking that will definitely, that's definitely where I want to be. Oh, that is so pretty. Let me put a little more paint out. I'm going to paint that in a little bit. Okay, I think I'm gonna do that right there. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah, kind of wish I'd gone to the edge on this side over here, but other than that, it's perfect. So now I'm like, do I want to pull some white over here that looked like we went to the edge a little better? Because I can see now I stopped right there. Oh, there we go. That's better. There we go. Throw that into some water. Now I feel ready that we can mark make on top of that. So let's dry that real quick. And I don't even feel like we need all that much, but what if we just come in here and just kind of do some mark making on top of our stenciling? That might be some fun. I like mark making on top of stenciling because then it no longer looks like just a straight stencil, and you can see like different marks and interesting things that you added. You could do some highlights, you can add in some colors that maybe you thought you needed. I like the additional texture and dimension that we get when we draw on top of stencil paint, which is why I like the flat paint, because the flat paint still has enough grit to it that I can draw on top of it pretty easily. And I like this this orange, because I can see the orange peeking through here, and I like that. So I kind of want some more of that peeking through, maybe. Oh, look look at that. Ooh, oh, getting excited with this layout. And then you know what we could do? We could do some dots. What about this teal? Kind of feeling like, why not? Just a little bit, just kind of in there, because we're just kind of working all the colors that we've already painted with, so it definitely kind of fits right in. And again, just like with everything else, I'm not looking for perfection, so I'm not looking for this to be the exact size and shape of whatever it is I'm adding a little extra detail to, so don't get hung up on everything being completely perfect or not perfect. Okay, let's get out our white Posca pen, and maybe we can come with some dot details, because why not? Dots are fun. I kind of want the dots to be in between. At the same time, I'm just accidentally right on top of a painted spot, but I don't even care. It's not something to get hung up on. Alright, that's pretty fun. I almost want to take maybe a Posca pen, and we could come in here with some extra marks, or we could leave it like it is. I mean, we could actually come in with the white, because it's really not white, and we could add some extra detail to the flowers if we wanted. That might be fun. There we go, there we go. I do like the extra detail on your stenciling. So if you stencil something and you're thinking, ooh, it looks kind of flat, this is the way you can make it look less flat. Looks like I put more flowers on this side than I did on the other side. I feel like I've traced more over here. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, I'm actually loving this. And I think that I can step back from this and say, okay, I'm loving that. I'm going to leave that, because as you flip through and you see the other layouts and you come across this one can live like this for me for a bit. So I think I'm going to call this one done for today. Hope you enjoyed painting with me and seeing what the big liquid watercolors might do with those Peerless watercolors. And I will see you next time.